Welcome, my friends, to another episode of Walking the Spiral of Truth and Love. I'm Coach Bill Gisclair-Sullivan, founder and senior director of Meditate School of Mindfulness and Sound, and the creator of the SVMT method of transformation, a heart-centered, somatic, vibrational, mindful, trance-informed approach to deep healing and conscious evolution. Today's episode is one that lives close to the bones of so many of us. Today, I'm sharing a reflection and a meditation about the grief of expectation, the grief of the life we thought we'd live, the world we thought we were building, the people we believed we knew, and the self we imagined we'd become. This is tender, this is human, but this is necessary. So I invite you to take a breath and settle down into your body, and let's take a walk on the spiral together, the spiral of truth and love. There's a grief that we almost never talk about. A grief that's not tied to death, but tied to the quiet endings inside of us. It's the grief of the life we imagined, the grief of who we thought we'd be, the grief of relationships that didn't unfold the way we hoped or ended too soon, the grief of friendships that changed over time, that changed shapes, that all of a sudden didn't resonate. The grief of plans that dissolved, the grief of identities that we no longer carry. And layered into all of that is the grief of a world that is not what we expected it to be. So many of us are still grieving the world that we lost in 2020, a world that shifted and never came back the same. We grieve the sense of safety that somehow slipped away. We grieve this innocence, the ease, the trust that we had. We grieve the belief that humanity was something predictable and mostly kind. And perhaps most painfully, we grieve the people we thought we knew, the ones who revealed unexpected sides of themselves, the ones who pulled away, the ones who followed the message of division and hatred, the ones whose fear became louder than their love. Expectation's powerful. It builds futures in our mind. It paints stories on the heart. It shapes who we think we need to be in order to be accepted, to be loved, understood, and safe. But when life unfolds differently, when people show us something new, when the world cracks and rearranges itself, the grief can be overwhelming. But we don't identify it as such. We think there's something wrong with us. We feel out of sorts, out of harmony. This isn't weakness, this is awakening though. When we come into the realization of this, we have an opportunity to begin again. In the SVMT method, we teach that expectation is a kind of vibrational attachment, an image, a future. A story we grip so tightly because it once gave us meaning and safety. But when that expectation dissolves, the nervous system moves into grief. Because grief is not just about loss of someone. Grief is the emotional tremor that arises when truth begins to replace illusion. We grieve the life we thought we'd be living, the person we believed we'd grow into, the version of someone else we held on to, the world that somehow felt more stable than it does now, the trust that we had in those we looked up to, the expectations we inherited but no longer fit into. Grieving expectations, not giving up, it's clearing space. It's creating space. It's acknowledging that the future we imagined was never the final draft of our lives. It was just a chapter, a possibility, an imagining, one version of what we could have been, one version of what the world could have been. And only when we allow ourselves to grieve the life that didn't happen can we fully embrace the life that is calling us now. To begin to walk the spiral of truth and love, we need to come into this space of awareness. We need to allow this moment to show itself as it is, to move into a space of accepting reality and then taking the next step. This is the spiral. It's not a return to what was. It's not a return to what we want it to be. It's a rise into what's true. We begin walking that spiral of truth when we come into this space of seeing clearly. So I invite you to sit for a moment and reflect on these questions. What expectation about yourself or someone else or the world are you grieving? Don't force it, just reflect on it. Acknowledge it gently, thinking about yourself or someone you cared for or care for, or the world itself. Bring it into reality. Bring it into awareness. Try to let go of any judgment and embrace only the truth of how it is now. And as you think about this and reflect on it, think about where you feel it in your body. Where is this grief living in your body? Is it in the chest or the throat, the tummy? Allow your body to speak to you. Then, what might become possible if you release the expectation and honored what is actually there? So let these questions open space. Go back to listen to them again if you need to. Save them for later, when you might be even more ready. These questions aren't meant as judgment. They're meant to soften the places that feel tight or guarded. They're meant to help you reveal the wisdom beneath the grief, the openness beneath the pain. They're meant to help you clear space for what's becoming. So next, I want to take you on a deeper reflection, a meditation that I title Grieving the Expected Life. It's a soft somatic journey into acceptance and release and inner restoration. So when you're ready, I invite you to come into a comfortable space, either sitting down or lying down, and allow your body to be supported and comfortable. This isn't about being rigid. This is about opening yourself up to feel comfortable, which will move you to feel open, which will move you to feel safe. It's a reset of the nervous system. And to help you do that, when you're ready, if you haven't already, I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And as soon as you close your eyes, take in a nice deep inhale and allow yourself a nice, long, slow exhale, and just allow yourself to settle down. Think about how you feel. Think about the surface beneath you. And I want you to imagine that in the next breath that we take together, you're going to take in a nice deep breath, and as you exhale, you're going to exhale nice and soft, and imagine you're coming down like a feather, settling down to touch a surface beneath you. So take in that nice deep breath, and exhale nice and slow, and just allow yourself to settle down like that feather coming to rest. And just be there now. And as you feel the presence of this moment, I invite you to scan your body with awareness and kindness, without judgment or expectation, without getting caught in the story of the discomfort or the pain. Just notice it. Notice any tension and heaviness. Notice any contraction. But don't try to fix anything. Just be aware. Just observe. And let your breath move into the places that feel unmet. Let it move through your body where there might be tension. Let it move to those places where you carry some nervousness or discomfort or even some pain. Breathe into those spaces for just a few moments, allowing yourself to just be with what's there now, without thinking you need to fix it. Just breathe through it. And then as you relax more and more, I want to invite you to scan your mind, to allow your awareness to bring to mind an expectation that you've been quietly grieving. something that you expected that didn't happen or won't happen. As you think about what it might be, don't get caught in the story. Just notice the feeling. Notice the awareness. Allow it to rest gently in your awareness with no pushing, no forcing, just presence. And as you think about this expectation of this person, this place, or this thing, say quietly to yourself, I see you. I hear you. You're allowed to be here now. Tap into the energy of it. Allow the energy of that grief, of that expectation, just a little space. As if you're allowing it to breathe. As if you're allowing the energy to start to move. And as you think about that energy, that expectation, imagine it as a soft, glowing shape in your hands. Imagine you were holding it. I wonder if you could imagine its weight, its tenderness, its history. Bring it into your hands from wherever it was. And then on your next exhale, I want you to imagine opening up your hands slightly, not dropping the expectation, but loosening your grip on it. Allow your body to feel the relief of not holding it so tightly. Feel that gentleness that comes as you begin to let go. And as you sit there breathing, I wonder if you could now imagine a warm sunrise behind you, or maybe even within you. Imagine the light touching the parts of you that were hidden beneath expectation. Imagine yourself clearing out that space of that expectation as you set it free. And perhaps you can whisper to yourself, or let it echo from your heart, I make space for what is real. I make space for what is mine. I make space for what is absolutely true. That I'm right where I need to be, doing exactly what I'm meant to do, as I clear the space to open up the path before me. Just think to yourself for a moment, I make space for who I am becoming. I make space for who I am. I make space. And just breathe for another moment, allowing yourself to embrace that energy. As you've released whatever you might have been holding, imagine it lifts out of your hand or is no longer there. It just dissipated as you cleared the space for truth, as you walked that path. Think about how you feel and recognize that this work, this grief, this truth-telling, this release, this is the heart of walking the spiral of truth and love. This is the heart of the SVMT method of transformation. Thank you for walking this spiral with me today. This spiral teaches us how to meet life with presence, how to honor the body, how to tune into the vibration of who we are, how to move from reaction to truth, from expectation to presence, and how to awaken the parts of ourselves that were silenced by this expectation. As you sit here reflecting on that truth and perhaps you feel a bit more openness, I invite you to take in a nice deep breath and exhale nice and slow. Think about how you feel. Think about the vibration of your heart and recognize that is the light that will fill the darkness. And if you haven't already, I invite you to open your eyes or allow your gaze to move around the room to see the space that you're in and to welcome yourself back from wherever it was you went. If this episode resonated with you, I encourage you to continue the journey, to stay curious, to stay compassionate, and to stay rooted in your own becoming. And as we close, I invite you into the next evolution of this work. My upcoming book, Walking the Spiral of Truth and Love, a guide to healing, presence, and transformation, a companion for your deepest remembering, will be available soon, so just stay tuned. I invite you to follow me on this podcast as we walk together. I'm Coach Bill Gisclair-Sullivan. Thank you for sharing your breath, your presence, and your truth with me today. Until next time, always remember, love is the way, and truth is the path. And in the next episode, coming out tomorrow, I'm going to reflect on this phrase and where it came from. This love is the way, and truth is the path. So join me when you're ready as we walk together